believe that, you know, people can change, that people change.
Yes.
People don't stay the same at all. If you stay the same, you're not growing.
Correct.
And my mom told me, she was like, that's where you're supposed to be.
What do you need improvement in?
Just want to go through and win.
What is the purpose of overthinking? You're taking care of your loved one. That's how you can increase your sales.
Anytime we bring a person on a team, it's a transaction in business. We bring people on the board as family members as well. And I can distinctly remember actually having a conversation with both of you all when I had to make one of the toughest decisions. I had to go through and actually let go quite a few people in one day. And I was like, I think it was so hard for me. It was just as hard for me to go through and do it as it was to go through and actually receive it. I want to go through and say, even throughout that process, I saw professionalism. That was like, that tore me up. And everyone knows my heart is like, oh my gosh. Like, but I had to go through and make a decision that was unpopular. And what it did was it taught me the strength that I had, and I want to go through and just kind of hear from your perspective as well, because I know you all probably remember that.
Like it was
how did that impact you all? Because I'm curious, how did that, and for our audience that don't know, like we were growing as an organization and growing, and the organization was doing well, but it got to a point where it was chaotic. It was almost, it was contaminated from within, and I had to go through and make the toughest decision of my leadership life to go through and say, you know, I had to go through and actually transition almost 50% of our administrative team. I want to go through and see, how did that decision impact you all, and how does it impact you all as leaders today as well? So I'll start off with you, Monica.
Okay. I cried today. I was at a doctor's appointment, and I got a call from one of the staff members. They was like, you're fired. I was like, huh? I was like, well, nobody ever told me that I was fired. I'm at a doctor's appointment. I was like, and my manager, which was, can we call her name?
No. Don't call her name.
So my manager at the time, I had told him that I would be out that day for a doctor's appointment, and I would come in late. So I called him, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm late. He was like, okay, no, that's fine. You told me that. I said, okay. So I kept, you know, going by my doctor's appointment. And when I came in, I clocked in, and I sat down at my desk, and I was locked out of everything. I was like, okay. I went to my manager, and I was like, hey, you know, I can't get in. He was like, hold on. Let me see what's going on. So when he came back, it took him like 30 minutes to come back, and when he came back with a clipboard. He was like, hey, let me talk to you. I was like, okay. So he was like, hey, well, I'm sorry, we have to let you go. He was like, but you can, you know, stay as a CNA, but we will have to, you know, deduct your pay from what you're getting paid. I was like, that's okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you. I signed. Where do you want me to sign? I signed the paper. I signed, and I left, and I cried. I was like, it was so, I was hurt. I was hurt because we were a family.
Yes.
I'm like, it was, you know, it was stuff going on. But I'm like, but I did my job. I'm like, I trained a whole department to do my job. And I was doing another job by myself. So like, I didn't understand what happened. It was like, well, hey, you know, this company don't need a third party person or a middleman to do the HR. I'm like, yes, they do. But okay, cool, whatever. So I went home, and I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, I don't have a job. What am I gonna do? I have bills. I have a kid to take care of. Right. I was depressed. I was like, I don't have a job. Oh my God. Like, I have a car note to pay for.
And you invested so much time.
And it was crazy because we had just went and did the policies and procedures, and I wrote most of the policies and procedures. And we went out to eat that night, that Friday night, and then on that Monday I was fired.
Wow.
I was like, this don't make sense.
Yes.
I was like, this does not make sense. And at that point, I had hit rock bottom, and I've never told anybody this story. So I had texted my cousin. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, I just feel like committing suicide. I don't have a job. I have a daughter. Like, and then next thing you know, July came, and I started working for 5 Star. I'm selling cars.
How'd that happen?
Right. So I seen a guy in the mall, and he was like, "Hey, you look like you're a good business person. I remember you from Primecare." He was like, "You want to come up and you know help me sell cars or whatever?" I was like, okay, cool. I don't have a job. It's like extra change in my pocket. So I did that, and then next thing you know, I was going in one day, and I had a friend that worked there also, and he was like, "Don't come in today. I don't know what's going on," but he wasn't supposed to do what he did. You wasn't even on payroll. He was paying you out of pocket. So so don't come back. I was like, okay, cool, but I was selling cars, so I can put that on my resume.
Exactly.
Right.
So in July, I went to the lot. I was behind on my car payment, and I went to the lot to talk to my cousin who worked at Butler. And she was like, "We might can get you in a new car." I said, "Girl, I ain't got no job." She got me in a brand new 2015 Honda with 0 miles. She drove it to my house.
Wow.
And that was my car, and that car payment, because I just bought the car, I didn't have to pay my car note until September, which I got a job August 31st, and my car payment was due on September 5th.
Wow.
Look how that works.
Everybody was like, "How did you get a car with no job?" I'm like, "The good Lord."
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus.
We need one of them cousins.
Look, and Dramatica, I appreciate you being vulnerable and telling that story because a lot of times in business, and this is talking to our audience as well, a lot of times as entrepreneurs, as leaders of organizations, sometimes you really don't realize the impact that you have on your team. And you realize that, especially when you're not connected, you're trying to go through and build a business, but trying not to be so close to the team, but you realize that everyone has a story. It's not just not the story of the organization. Everyone shares a story, and their story is interconnected to the ultimate, to the Primecare story. But when especially when you're on the road leadership, it's so important. You said so many nuggets. It's so important to go through and realize that you don't have to make every decision on your own.
Right.
It's secondly important to have a mentor or a coach to go there and bounce some ideas out, because instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you can just realize that, you know what, these are the ones, instead of going through and putting everybody in the same boat and realizing that you have to go through and do everything. And I think that's the difference in the leadership that we have right now is more growth level leadership. And what actually, and before I get to Shakita, what actually, because I know we had a conversation with you coming back, what actually turned your heart to come back? And because you could have said, "You know what, the heck with this. I know how y'all did before." What actually turned your heart to go through and say, "I'm going to give these guys another try"?
Because so it was a lot going on those years. I came back in 2018.
Yes.
I came back in 2018 doing the same job. I loved it again. And I was like, let me try something else, because I'm still not getting what I want.
Correct.
So I left, and the reason I came back was because you give everybody a chance. Yes. Like, people in life, starting out young, they're young. Everybody go through change. I believe that, people can change, that people change. Yes. People don't stay the same at all. If you stay the same, you're not growing.
Correct.
And my mom told me, she was like, "That's where you're supposed to be."
Wow.
She said, "Your heart is in that, what you want to do." She was like, "And no matter what happened, you should give them a chance, because a factory is not your thing." She was like, "That's where you're supposed to be." And I prayed about it, and God was like, "That's where you're supposed to be. Wow. You can grow with those guys because they've grown."
Wow.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for not having a already always, and that's what we call it. I took a class and was talk about already always. Sometimes we get to a point where we think people gonna always respond the way they used to respond, and so when you say that there's change, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Even if Dad say, "I'm going to take, as a child, I'm going to take you to the football game, I'm going to give you a call," never call. When you're 20 and 30, you still need to give him a benefit of the doubt, because he may change. And so thank you for giving us the benefit of the doubt, and for us to really grow and change, because we were losing valuable people in within our organization and family, because we have built a relationship so much.
Like, this like my brother.
Yeah. We cool. And so I want to say thank you. And I did not know your story, and I want to let our audience know, especially who's watching this, especially if you're a young entrepreneur, it's so important to have mentorship because we were throwing the baby and the bathwater out. We were just like throwing everything out. And I was telling when I was in Jersey that I am a type of leader that I'm a ready, fire, aim, and typically I'm not the analytical. So Ferris is our analytical guy, and I'm like, let's jump on, let's do it. We need to do it right now. And so we have that balance now that we're not throwing the baby with the bath. We're gonna be like, okay, let's put the baby to the side, let's wrap it up, let's throw the water out. And so I just want to say thank you for giving us that benefit of that.
Are you unable to work a public job because you're taking care of a loved one in your home? There's a possibility that I can help. Since 2019, Primecare Homecare has been part of the Structured Family Caregiving Program, and that is where you get paid a weekly stipend to take care of your loved one at home. There are some qualifications, and I will be glad to go over those with you. But first, you got to call. My number is 478-279-9838. Once again, that number is 478-279-9838. My name is Tara Griner, and I would love to help you.
Let's start with Shaquille. We ready for our horror story. This is gonna probably one of the best episodes. It's gonna be the most shared.
Right.
They be like, oh yeah, I know they were.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to it happened twice to me.
Yes.
The first layoff, it didn't bother me as much because I had already had a backup. I was a certified nursing assistant. I still had my feet in the door with a veterans home. So I gave you guys a full-time time, but I still had part-time with them.
Right.
It's something that I just couldn't let them go at that time. And plus I had retirement there.
Yes.
So that didn't bother me at that time, but it did discourage me. It started to kind of refill that fear back up to like, okay, well, business assistant, this is how it's going to be. But I didn't think about it at that time. As time moved on, I began to trust you guys, believe in you. I then retired from the veterans home. I was like, I'm going to go with these guys full time because this is what I do. Right. I love talking to caregivers. I love talking to the clients. I just love this. And when something that I'm passionate about, I'm going to put my all. So the years built. It kept going, and I would see some days, Kayla, let me tell you, you don't know this, but I think I shared it a little bit with you, and when you get to see the self-evaluation, but I wanted you to know this because you was one of the persons that I really felt intimidated by, but that was because I didn't know you. I didn't get, because you was in and out all the time. You was jumping here, you was jumping there, and I was like, yeah, and come in, you would train, and I remember one time somebody was typing and they had these nails on, and you said, you got to cut them nails off because you ain't gonna be able to see.
I didn't have any tech probably back in the day. I was like, listen, we're gonna be here all day.
That's what he said.
If you keep on picking, I'm so sorry, but I know not to do that now. I know that. I know not to say that now, but I was saying, listen, this ain't gonna work.
And it was never, now that I know you, it was never about your personality. It was never nothing personal about you. It's just that I didn't know you. Just what you only showed. The person that I knew is what you showed me. Right. So I judge you but by what you showed me.
Yeah.
So I don't think we had another layoff into the big, huge one.
Yeah.
Of course we had another CEO had came in and great. My mentor. He gave me a lot of encouraging words and things to do. And again, I don't know all that, what happened and why things got stirred up, but I know that when that change came, I was devastated. I can still remember it today, sitting in front of the table. And it was like, gonna drop your pay first.
Moment, yeah.
No. We gotta travel first.
Yeah, it was travel to Macon.
Travel to Macon first.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna drop your pay. Reality started hitting me because I was the only bread provider for my family, and I was like, man.
We have any tissue?
I was like,
Stay right
man.
there. Okay.
I was like, man,
Right.
how can somebody do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
How can somebody take the rug underneath you, snatch it from you?
Right.
They didn't know what I have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then truly, I didn't think that you guys cared.
Mm.
That changed my life.
Yeah.
But it changed it for the better because being comfortable, being complacent, you can't do that. You got to be able to be adventurous. You got to be able to think outside the box continuously. You got to be able to try new things. And God knew that if he didn't push me, that I wouldn't be where and the mindset that I am today. So that particular day, you guys have actually brought in someone here at the building, and I remember them coming in. But one thing I never doubted about myself, because I knew that I believed in myself, and I knew that I knew what I could do.
Right.
I knew that if you gave me the task, I was going to, you say 100, I'm going to take it 350.
Right.
I knew that what you would give me, I didn't even have to take a class for it. I didn't have to have a diploma for it. God had already shown me that. I got the job and didn't have a GED.
Right.
I was at being a CNA, I didn't have a GED.
Right.
So I knew that what I was capable of doing, but I had to be pushed in order to see and know that it is true. You can do it, Shakita. And so that particular day, when you brought that lady in, it was still God. Because guess what? She's the one that called me that next morning and say, I don't want you to come because you're going to be let go. And I remember getting off that phone and I walked outside because I didn't want my daughter to see me crying. And she say, Mama, she say it's going to be all right. She told me, she said, it's going to be all right. And I walked to the side of the house and I was like, yeah, it's going to be all right. And so at that time I was like, okay, I don't know what it feels to be laid off. I don't know what it feels to draw unemployment because I've always worked. You know, I've always worked. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to draw unemployment and just go to school. Maybe this is the time for me to go to nursing school. God didn't skip a beat. Because my mentor at that time was talking to someone that I didn't even know about, totally in a Covington. And I was like, what in the world? I was like, God, that is too far. Why are you taking me this far?
Right.
I don't even know these people. This is someone new. This is not my family. It's just like I felt divided, like I'm cut from my family. And I'm going to a whole another atmosphere. And I believe me, it was a different atmosphere. But the thing is that I went. I still was obedient.
Right.
I've had someone that was talking for me. I didn't even know they was talking for me.
Right.
And I went in. And what I did is what got me through that is because the fact that I stopped thinking about why I was there. And I just started like getting in the moment and say, what can I do while I'm here? So what I did is I started what I'm best at, communication, impacting lives, building a new system, what I was already taught from you guys. And so I went there and just like they had a whole lot of things going on. And so I was like, they need something renewed. And so that's what I started doing. I put myself more involved in it. And so as time went by, this preacher told me, he said that Primecare going to be calling you back. This was a prophetess.
Really?
Wow.
And I didn't believe it. I was like, no. Because, I started.
Like, boo, you don't know what.
Yeah. So I was like, nah, they not calling me back. And I said, well, you know what? They call me back. I don't know if I'm going to go back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, okay. And so as time, I heard it again.
Oh, wow.
And I kept hearing again. And even caregivers from here was calling me and wanted me back. And I was like, okay, I don't know yet. Just not bashing anyone.
Right.
Because things that you go through is bashing someone is not going to help it. You got to get what you need to get out of it. And so what I got out of it is that I've seen, excuse my for arrogant people in my life. And I was like, no way, I'm not going to be like this. This is not how you do home care.
Right.
And pretty soon God just started opening doors. And guess what? My job was laying off.
Wow.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going through this again. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to school this time and I'm going to collect me some unemployment. I was like, well, God, I want me to get this unemployment because everybody else sitting out. You know? And so one day I was on my back porch. And this particular time when I was laid off, I shook his hand and I was like, thank you. Because still, it was things that I was still doing towards my growth period. Yes. That it didn't hurt me at that particular time. I just shook his hand. I was like, thank you for the opportunity. Time to go. My assignment was over. Right. So I went home and I was sitting on the back porch. I had already been sneaking on the Primecare Indeed and looking at some things. And I was like, they got the office coordinator position back open and it was something else. So I called Ferris. And I tell you, it was just nobody but God. It was just like he was waiting on the call and I was waiting on the call as well. I know what position that he wanted me to have, but I didn't want that position at that particular time. Because,
I remember your reluctancy.
Yeah, I wanted to. I said, God, if I go back in, I want to be able to trust him. And I was like, because even during that journey, going back and forth to Covington, even the fear just got it got less and less. And I was like, I shouldn't be afraid to ask them what I need to ask them because this is my life.
Exactly.
This is something that I'm about to commit to again. So I need to make sure that they are serious about what they want and do they want me? Why do you want me back?
Right.
You know, what can I offer you? What did you see?
If we grew.
Exactly.
And what did we learn from?
Right.
I think when we had that conversation, Shakita, initially we got on the page and I asked for forgiveness and stuff like that.
Oh, that was
and I think forgiveness is a part of it, especially when leadership, especially if you know that, you didn't have the most, being an 18-year-old entrepreneur, 21-year-old entrepreneur, you don't know too much about like how to fire people. You don't know how to hire people. You don't know how to, if you need to build a relationship. We hear about friends. It's so much stuff. We didn't have systems. We didn't have processes. So it was really chaotic. We were doing wiggly lines and highlights. And so for that to now, we did have to, it had to be a level of forgiveness on your part and a level of forgiveness on our part as well. And so I'm so glad and thankful that we have moved from that and we have forgiven.
And that was so beautiful, Caleb. Right. That was when I started knowing you. Even though I had been working for you for a few years before that, but that was when I truly, truly knew you because you asked me for forgiveness. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was ready because you was exercising on something that you needed to, and I was doing the same, but then we met up.
Right. And
it was just like, that inspired me about you, and that just totally changed my way of looking at you. And I opened up my heart. I was able to believe in you guys, and especially, and I was just going to sit in that position. I was going to sit and wait, and I said, let me watch him because I got to make sure that I'm ready. I'm just going to be honest with you. And that's what I brought back. And I was like, I'm going to tell these guys, I'm just going to be honest with them. I'm not going to hide anything from them. I'm going to let them know how I feel. But yeah, I sat and I watched, and I knew then when it was time for me to take over my position that I have now, it was the moment to do it.
That's amazing.
And this right here has been really eye-opening because I think a lot of times, especially for people that are aspiring entrepreneurs or leading an organization or director executives, working up the leadership ladder, I think it's so important to realize that perfection is it's no one's ever perfect. No one's ever perfect. Mistakes will be made, but just like I said, going back to the drawing board to ask for forgiveness, to going back to the drawing board to realize that when you hurt someone, you just never know their story.
Right.
And to go through and learn from that right there so that you can go through and actually not make the same mistakes twice, because as we're on the road to become a national organization, we have to make sure the foundation is set. Like, again, just like Caleb said, you all are, I want to say our OGs, our OCs, our original crew that have seen the ups and the downs. A lot of times when people come through the doors, they just see where we are right now.
They just see this going up.
They see this, but you all were back then. You all experience, and these are the things that you can go through, and this is what leadership does. it goes to relate to where people are.
Right.
It goes through and show that I take that from Ferris, but this right here, I'm not going to do it that way. I take that from Caleb, I'm not going to do it this way, because you all are leaders within the organization. And as we go through and become a national brand, we see people growing with the organization. It's not just me, man, I. Primecare, again, like I always say, it's not Caleb and I, it's we, it's us. It's so many people behind the scenes that goes to make this ship move forward. So I know we're going to go ahead and probably...
Yeah, we need to do a part 2 because we haven't even really asked y'all a question. We stuck on 2 questions.
Exactly.
And so really we
come back this fall.
Yeah, we need to bring y'all back this fall. Or we need to, or if we could, need to just go and do another clip, because this is so good, because we didn't even really ask y'all nothing. We over here we had therapy.
Right.
This was the foundation. And so guys, so just wanted to give you a wrap up. This has been a great episode, guys. This conversation. Jamonica handles our billing department, and you have a great team of individuals that work with you. Shakita does our staffing, our call center, which was one of the stressful jobs ever. And so you just do an amazing job with that, with leading your team. And so I want to wrap it up, since we have been over time. But before we do this, let's leave a thought.
Because I know you all are leaders as well. And my thing is, I want you to go through really quick, a minute each as well. Just kind of tell about your team, kind of shout your team out. What are the things that you see within your team? Because you're developing a great group of leaders, and also with you as well. So Jamonica, 1 minute. Then also in the back of your mind, I'm going to be asking some motivating things that you can tell other people that's thinking about coming on board.
Oh my God. Can I say their name?
Yeah.
When I first met Tasha, oh my God, Tasha has her billing license, but Tasha knows nothing about Medicaid billing, which when I came in, I trained her. She learned so fast. She picked up on everything. She is a beast. She gets it going. She gets it done. She makes sure I'm on top of everything I need to be on top of. She was like, hey, have you done this? Hey, I need this check. Hey, this happened. I'm at home working with my 6 kids. Wow. She got it. Wow. Hannah is quiet. Hannah don't know. She won't say anything, but when she came in, she was ready to learn. Yeah. She stays on top of me as well. I have Hannah doing all the cost shares, SLC cost shares now. She's also doing our billing, and she is the one behind the formats. I'm not a format person. Hannah does all the formations that we need. I'm like, hey, if I need a spreadsheet, Hannah, I got this spreadsheet made up for us. This is what we're gonna go by. This is how I keep track. This is how Tasha's gonna keep track. Oh my God. And I got her out of her comfort zone. Wow. She's not a talker. Hannah, you have to talk. Wow. Tasha's not a talker. Tasha, you have to talk. I'm like, I'm not gonna do your job for you. I'll see you send your email, you call the case managers and ask the case manager. They are now calling the case managers. Wow. They are now sending emails to the case manager. I'm teaching them my leadership role so they can become me.
Wow.
And Hannah has a billing license as well, right?
She has a medical billing code associate's degree. So
and
me
leaders
and her
produce leaders, and that's what you are. Leaders, again, you develop and elevate. You delegate and elevate. What you're doing is you're delegating the tasks they need to do so that you can elevate and so that they can elevate as well.
I have her doing payroll.
Wow, see, that's what I'm talking about, girl.
I'm not doing payroll. I'm gonna let you do payroll.
You should be able to sit here and do a podcast interview while the work is still getting done.
Yeah,
that's right.
Shakita, over to you.
All right. Well, staffing department, of course, is very, very challenging. When I first started staffing, I was the only one doing staffing 7 days a week.
Wow.
I have an amazing team. I see so much growth in each and every one of those guys. Jaquila, Taiki, Shayna, Jasmine, and Tamika. I can Tamika is actually one of our OGs too, guys.
Yes.
And Tamika started out as a caregiver, and now she's into staffing. I know that as we grow each and every day, that she'll become even better at what she does. Even with her typing, we're doing typing classes and all of that. I train them as I lead. I train them as I read. Any information that I get, I give it to them. I encourage them to continuously to read, because I don't just wake up like this. I have to at least get some food in my soul, so that way I can be able to help them staffing department can be challenging. We get all the incoming calls. We make most of the outgoing calls. Sometimes we can get attitudes and we can get cursed out on days. And I'm just grateful for the moment to be here at that moment because it couldn't been anywhere it couldn't be different because what they're going through now, I've already experienced it. That's when you know shoes fit. That's when you know that you're in the right position. That's when you know you're on the right seat on the bus. That's what I'm kind of looking at now during our growth. I feel that everybody needs an opportunity to what they want to do because someone gave me that opportunity. So I want to do the same for my team as well. And so day by day, now that this COVID is separating us, that's the only thing that I don't like. I like to be with my team on a daily basis because I want them to truly get what they want personally, business-wise. And I know that they're going to need that encouragement. They're going to need that hug. They're going to need that saying that you can do it because I know I've been there. I've taken some of those calls and sometimes people just don't understand that what you do and things that you have to listen to a lot of times. Not saying that they're bad, no calls are bad, but I think it's more of sometimes we don't put ourselves on other people's level or in their shoes to understand what they're going through. That empathy, and that's what it takes. Yes, the empathy is a big thing. So
wow. See, you guys have said a mouthful, and we just appreciate you all coming on the show. We will have a part 2 because I think this is awesome. And I love the personality. Like, oh my gosh, again, you all are the original crew, the OGs. You all have stuck with us. And we just say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you both for sticking with us, and thank you for being on this journey because we're just beginning.
Yes,
we will be a national brand.
Yes,
we will look to the left and to the right and see that the OGs, the OCs are right there growing with us as well. So we just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for growing as we grow.
Yes. And I love it.
Thank you for growing as we grow because that's what's going to go through and continue to help us as we continue to go through and actually expand to further things. So we're going to end it right there.
Yeah, we're going to end it. Definitely go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Conversation with the Homecare Guys, as well as go to Spotify and leave a 5-star review so our content can be up there so everybody can watch it and watch it and watch it and we get all these likes. So I want you to definitely do this. This has really been an intimate family session, y'all. Yeah. We only know what everybody been talking about, so we really don't. So it is really near and dear to my heart. And guess what? I think one episode we want to have Joshua on.
Yes, that'd be a true.
That's gonna be good. Yes.
All us together.
Exactly. We have another round table.
Exactly.
But there you go. Another great episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care.